Welcome back. When we left off last time, our hero Garrett the Bard had wiped out the town well of monsters and recruited Nikolai the Mage for some dubious purposes. And since the last video, I raised their levels from 6 to 11 by fighting monsters randomly on the world map. So you haven't missed anything story-wise. And our party finds themselves in the town of Mystic, where there's a wolf infestation problem. And that quest is going to get triggered randomly on the world map here, so that might be what happens next. Otherwise, we'll be heading to the Forbidden Forest to look for our alchemist friend. And one thing I'll bring up before we get too deep into that is the camp function there. It's basically just a way to access your abilities, the inventory, stuff like that, and potentially to save. The rest option there uses one of the survival gear items, but otherwise acts just like a normal inn in a town. Just so you're aware that little feature, since otherwise being on the map would be especially deadly. Alright, these are not the wolves we're looking for. And now that I've beefed up the party a bit, this encounter really isn't too much trouble. One more shot should do it. Alright, so we'll be entering our second dungeon, the Goblin Camp. And we've got some dialogue there about looking for the alchemist, and they'll bring up here that it's not very noticeable with just one playthrough, but technically the dialogue is going to be different depending on which characters are in your party. So with a full game, again all theoretical here, you could really have almost anyone in your party. Some of the characters would die through plot events, and even the main character might not be in the party throughout the entire game. So yeah, there is some scripting in there for some potentially interesting different interactions, but for now, this playthrough you'll be seeing the more standard and expected dialogue here. I should also bring up there's some new abilities that these characters have learned with the extra levels. Static Bolt is the main damage dealer for Nikolai here, and has a cost to match. And Garrett has just lost the goblin there to poison. Garrett has this slash ability, which is going to be his main damage dealer for a single target, but in this case these goblins aren't too much trouble with the leveling I've done, so a regular attack will do. Something else to bring up here is that there is no fog of war on these maps. That's not a bug, that's the intended behavior here, since this is a forest that's in the sunlight more or less, so it doesn't make sense, I think, to have to explore. You should see everything. And this hasn't happened yet, but these goblin scouts can be a bit of trouble, since they can call additional goblin warriors to the field. So they're going to be the primary target if you're playing strategically. Ah, there it goes. got more friends. And Dank Dirge is really the best tool at the party's disposal for a big enemy party. And I had a bit of fun with making these goblin sprites. Questionable art quality aside, it's kind of fun taking the same base template for pretty much every creature here and making a few little tweaks between each different monster to make a unique sprite. You can see we've got some actual monster sprites on the field, so that's a plot event that we're going to be heading towards. An optional one, but worthwhile and a little bit silly, but and you'll notice I am spamming a lot of abilities here, so I made sure to buy a bunch of skill potions during the downtime between videos, and that makes traversing these dungeons quite a bit easier. Let's see if we can wipe these guys out before they call some warriors to the fray. Not a good start. Something else to notice too, each dungeon more or less has its own unique background, so I had some fun with that. Heal up before this encounter. Alright, and we have some goblins that are a bit slow. Oh, they're finally catching on. And tonally, I'm not sure if that was the right way to go, but I guess I wanted a little fun. And yeah, those are just normal goblin warriors, so kind of pushovers. Let's see what that treasure chest had for us. A rapier and 400 gold. Rapier is a bit interesting. It's got less attack power than a longsword, but gives plus 10% evade, which is pretty good. It can make Garrett quite annoying to deal with the 32% evasion. But in terms of smashing through content here, I'm going to go with the higher attack item. And I might as well give Nikolai his skill points back. There's another example of me having fun with these sprites. The Goblin Elite here is basically a normal Goblin Warrior with a longer shield and some chainmail, which I had fun making. Might be a little elaborate in the wrong way, but again, I was having fun with it, so worthwhile, I say. Sadly, wearing all that metal armor does not work too well when you're being hit by electricity. I think I'm actually going to go with a regular attack, which didn't work out so well. Conserve some mana. quite enough to level up. I forget if this is just decorative. Yeah, just decorative. Curious if that pile of bones had any significance. That's what happens when you make a game almost a decade ago. Everything's new again. Looks like these guys are sticking around. They have enough hit points to last a couple of dank dirges. Sadly, Nikolai doesn't have any area of effect spells just yet. There is one coming later on. I forget what level, but it should be coming soon. Heal everyone up. I had fun with this. This tent here, it's not just an object to be avoided. You can actually go inside. Wasn't too difficult to pull off technically, but something some people might not think to do. Got a pretty significant upgrade in that metal buckler. I think +6 defense, +4% evade. Back out into the sunlight. And whenever the combat history says something different than just attack, it's usually behind the scenes doing something additional with a different damage multiplier, or hit rate, something like that. If you bring enough skill potions where you can spam your abilities, this dungeon gets significantly easier. It's level 12. The level cap on this demo is 15. And we got some new monsters now. Goblin warriors, shirtless, with some cuts, an axe, and looks like some blood in their mouth. These are berserkers. And they have significantly more hit points than our run-of-the-mill goblins. And additionally have some strong abilities. Looks like neither of their power attacks here were enough to finish them off. Should go to show how much more powerful they are. I think this will be the end. Yes. And a level for Nikolai. Let's see if he gets the skill I was talking about. Wasn't the one I was looking for, but that's another one of his knife skills. To elaborate on that a little, I have my design philosophy for this game was to have unique characters, skill-wise, using games like, again, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI as an inspiration, where they each had either a unique set of skills or an entirely unique battle command. And to try to one-up that, maybe, each character here has 2 unique battle commands. For Nikolai, magic and knife skills. For Garrett, bard songs and swordplay. Let's see if we can take him out in one hit. Yes. Alright. And this dungeon is a bit tricky in that there's quite a lot of map to go through and no save points in between. So if I had implemented a way to save outside of inns, I think I probably would have wanted to put a save point in, just so it's a little less frustrating if you aren't prepared. But we have reached the last screen of this dungeon. I'm gonna grab all the treasure chests before we take on that monster on the map. Starting to run low on skill potions despite knowing exactly what I'm in for, so I'm gonna try to conserve skill points just a little. Quite a few encounters. If I didn't mention it before, I think I would probably lower the encounter rate were I to continue working on this game. Try to finish him off with a regular attack. Since Nikolai's energy darts are not enough to finish these guys off, and Garrett's attack is. Light crossbow, I don't think any of the characters in this demo can equip the light crossbow. There's a character named Kelvin in what I envisioned the full game to be, and he would be a crossbow user. Hit him with a dirge, and energy dart should take out our goblin friend here. I don't think energy darts will do it for this guy, so I'm going to wait for a regular attack from Garrett. You might notice that Nikolai's attacks, when they hit, are doing almost as much damage as his energy darts. So really the advantage to the energy darts is that it's a guaranteed hit. Alright, we're going to be heading into a boss battle momentarily. Here's Garrett trying to reason with the goblins who, up to this point, has been cutting down left and right. Nikolai being a bit snarky. And there's the boss music. Now, there are only 4 slots for monsters in this battle system, so the Goblin Scout call for help is going to be pretty useless, so I'm not in any rush to kill them off quickly. And you can see these Goblin Scouts are kind of pushovers, and you'll see why in a minute. It does have a good hit point pool, at least. But I think the next attack will do... Ooh! Used a potion on himself. I forgot he could do that. Looks like this battle's gonna drag on a little longer. Well, this should finish him off, no question. Well, Nikolai echoing my thoughts exactly. And there was a bug with the version that I was touching up a bit earlier this week, so hopefully the dialogue will not get silly with the next random encounter. We'll see soon enough. Use all our power abilities to smash through these guys quickly. Alright, good. Bug fixed. The bug was that they would echo that last, that post-boss battle conversation after every battle. Alright, so we're going to exit the map now. Or are we? Nope. The scouts were bait. And we've got some... They got the big boss that was mentioned by the scouts. But who's this? Alphonse the Alchemist. I got a few interesting things happen. First of all, we've got a party member joining pretty abruptly for that new fight. And also we have what I would call a horde encounter. So we've got 4 enemies to deal with right now, but as we cut down these monsters, more will be coming in. And the shaman's going to be a key target, since otherwise he's going to keep boosting up all of the other characters and healing them. So, Alphonse the Alchemist has an ability called Analyze, which will show us the level, hit points, and skill points of any monster on the field. And Mix, which is basically healing and status effect type things. Right now we have a poison status ability and a healing ability, which sadly only affects one character, so it's inferior to Garrett's ability. Just out of curiosity, see what this Goblin Shaman is. Pretty close to death. So I think a Dirge will actually finish him off. Oh, 1 hit point left. That's unfortunate. He's got more than 1 hit point now. You see there, with it being a horde battle, he's immediately replaced. So we'll need to stay strong here. Have Nikolai mix up a healing salve. And let's take out the elite. Oh, they keep coming. See this joins the fray message each time someone new comes in. Have him do a regular attack. In universe, hypothetically what's going on is that Alphonse is attacking by throwing flasks at his enemies, which is a bit silly, but that is the explanation for how he's attacking. Nikolai pulling his weight with those magical attacks. So many scouts. Nikolai is about to run out of mana, so I'm gonna have to give him a skill potion. Landed a few poisons there, that should be helpful. These guys are tough. And this is why I'd want a save point. I imagine that if someone was not prepared, this would be a pretty difficult fight to make it through. Finally, they stop being replaced. The horde has been narrowed down a bit to just a couple of angry goblins. I think a couple more. One more attack will do it. And quite a bit of experience. Bask in the glory of increasing experience bars. And Alphonse learns Skill Tonic, which is going to be pretty useful going forward. Alphonse explaining is doing research. Rescue mission ill-advised. But we have a new party member, so not a waste of our time, Nikolai. Alphonse in good spirits. And a new ability, like I mentioned before with the well and earning the Dank Dirge ability, we have the Goblin War Chant, which was being used to good effect by the Goblin Shaman just moments before. So, I'll heal everyone up and get ready for our escape. Hopefully our skill potions will last us until we can buy some more. I'm forgetting if I explored this tent. I think I might have missed out on some good loot, unless I'm being forgetful. 3 characters, this battle should pose no problem. Finish him off, Alphonse. Yeah, missed a chest. Suit of well-polished chainmail. And unfortunately, I don't think I actually show it anywhere in-game, but each character has different equipment classes that they're allowed to use. So Garrett cannot use the chainmail since he's only allowed to use light armor. But Alphonse, our newest member, can, and that's going to be a huge increase. 29 points. And let's see what else he has. A water flask, which is not going to do much damage except for maybe the broken glass. Torch is an item I think is kind of interesting in that it lowers the dungeon encounter rate. I'm not sure I've seen a similar type of equipment item in any other game. It's also got a boots accessory. I guess all the other characters are running around barefoot or with normal weight boots. Let's try to get... Well, I'm debating showing off the run command, but there really isn't much to show there, so I'm just gonna finish this battle the old-fashioned way. But there is a run command, which I think takes your speed into account, but just ends the battle. And then wait is kind of a sloppy implementation of skipping someone's turn to have another character go first, and it just subtracts 20 from their timer. Ideally, I'd beef up the code a bit so it would maintain their timer, but it just wasn't worth the headache of implementing around how I built everything else, so that's how it works for now. Looks like Garrett's going to level up to 13. Excellent. Nikolai, I don't think will quite make it. No. No skills, sadly, but there should be an interesting one coming up next level. hug the edge here, make it out as quickly as we can. Since we are running low on items, don't want to drag things out too long until we can save. Use regular attacks. Make sure this goblin's extra dead. Alright, Nikolai, you can do it. Yeah. Magifrost. That is his one area of effect damaging spell. And I don't think I implemented elemental weaknesses, but it does damage, and that's good enough for now. I'm going to actually use the camp option here, just in case we encounter that wolf roaming the countryside. And there it is! This is the white wolf, the one we've been hunting down for that other quest. And Alphonse, in a second, can check out his skills and see what we're up against. Yeah, I'll use Magifrost. Show that off. Show off that sweet ice damage animation. Let's see, this white wolf, level 12, 338 hit points. Should be able to take him out with an attack from Garrett and a lucky static bolt. Mauling Garrett, doing some pretty decent damage. But no match for Mage's Electricity. Alphonse to level 10. And a white wolf pelt, so that's going to let us complete the quest we've been on. As soon as we take out this goblin. Parading around the pelt. It's a interesting way to do it, but that'll finish the quest. And a suit of armor. Yes, the lupine armor. I believe that's going to be the best armor available in the game right now for Garrett. Let's check out the stats on that one. Small defense boost, but it also gives us some attack and speed, which is nice. Save. Buy a few essence potions. Could be useful for a battle where you don't want to have to deal with using multiple skill potions and eating up your turns there. Just buy a whole bunch. That should do it. Smash through this encounter quickly, and hopefully I can complete the Alchemist quest officially. See, the Vagabond is pretty quick, but not a match for 3 characters in double-digit levels. Alright, Alphonse's assistant, happy to see his boss. And an acetic flask, which is going to be a weapon upgrade for Alphonse. Nothing worth buying there, but throw this on. Has an interesting effect there. The acetic acid will burn through the enemy's armor slowly but surely. And given the time I've run here, I think I'm going to end this video. There's still the wizard tower to take on, and a secret dungeon at the end. So, until next time.